Hello, more mouse news for August. Yes, wow, a lot of mouse companies are making stuff in August, which is surprising. But anyways, the Atom Palm Hydrogen. That's probably not something you heard in about 2 years now, or a year, because they have been pretty inactive for an entire year and nobody really knows where they went. So they kind of went inactive and most people forgot about them. However, they recently came back. Recently, just now, about a day ago, they announced that they were basically done with the mouse and they were going to release it on the 9th of September. So yeah, if anybody wants a Atom mouse, now you can actually get it. I never thought it would actually be released, but hey, I'm glad that it's actually being released, and I'm glad that they're actually putting an effort. However, I would like them to see a little bit more active, because again, they were completely inactive for about a year now. And also, it's not super impressive like it was about 2 years ago. It's 47.5 grams for the weight, which is really, really good, like insanely good, but it's not as good as a Final mouse. Also, it's wired. It's not wireless. Meanwhile, again, Final Mouse, and other companies like Pulsar and Fantech, for that matter, actually, have almost caught up in terms of weight and are pretty good. I mean, some of them are like 15 grams heavier, like the Fantech Aria. I'm pretty sure that's like 10 grams heavier, but it's not that big of a difference. And I've said this in the past, but I really don't think it's the biggest difference in the world. However, 47.5 grams is still really, really impressive. But again, not as impressive as it once was about 2 years or a year ago, because again, Final Mouse now exists. Even though how much I really don't like Final Mouse, I have to, again, commend them for how light they've gotten their mice, where a lot of companies still haven't caught up to exactly where they are in terms of weight. But anyways, another thing that they said is the aluminum scroll wheel, which is actually something that interests me, because I feel like a lot of scroll wheels, while they aren't bad, a lot of scroll wheels are kind of just the same. I feel like some of them are like lighter and some of them are heavier, but they're basically made out of the same material. But again, that's not a bad thing. They still feel very, very good. However, I'm glad that Atom is doing something different and is now trying to make an aluminum scroll wheel, which actually sounds pretty interesting, and hopefully that will go over well. And also, they said the cable is going to be good. I wouldn't take everything I would take everything with kind of a grain of salt, because we haven't seen any pictures of it. We only saw a very early prototype of it about a year ago, when it was, again, when they were actually active. But we don't know the changes that they actually made, and we haven't seen any pictures of it yet. So again, I would take all this with a grain of salt and just wait for pictures or reviews to come out of the mouse before actually getting this. Unless you're super interested in the mouse for $99 for a wired mouse. Yeah, $99 is pretty expensive, especially when the Fantech Aria is $70 for a very, very good wireless mouse, as well as the Pulsar X2, which is a really good wireless mouse, for $95. So yeah, $100 is probably one of the most, if not the most expensive wired mouse now. I mean, probably there's some other mice that are probably more expensive, but it's one of the most expensive wired mice, probably. That is very, very expensive. However, they also advertise 8 kHz polling rate. However, I would, again, take this with a grain of salt, because a lot of companies, actually not a lot of companies, but at least one mouse from Razer, the Viper 8K Hertz, a lot of people and reviewers tested this out, and it really didn't make that much of a difference, and it also performed worse in some games that weren't optimized for 8K Hertz. So I really wouldn't recommend it. Also, optical switches and 1000 hertz are perfectly fine for most people, including me. I mean, they're already super, super fast. The only thing I would see using this for as if you're in super competitive and you really want to get the most advantage out of your mouse, especially with the Viper 8K, or not the Viper 8K Hertz, the 4K Hertz dongle, and I actually heard that does make a difference, but it significantly reduces battery life. I'm pretty sure it cuts it down by like 3/4. It was like a 70 hours, and now it's 18 hours with the dongle, which is not a sacrifice I'm willing to make. But again, if you are super competitive and you want the most out of your gaming mouse, you want it to be the fastest ever, then yeah, I would recommend that. But again, for most people like me, I would not take that battery sacrifice. However, again, the 4K hertz over the 8K hertz Viper, the 4K hertz actually does make a difference from what I've heard, which is cool. So hopefully the 8K hertz implementation on the Atom Palm is actually good and is actually noticeable, because again, the Viper 8K hertz isn't really that noticeable. So yeah, again, hopefully this implementation is good, and also I'm pretty sure they're using optical switches, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure they're using optical switches, and hopefully those feel good, and hopefully also the build quality is good, because this is what you see from a lot of just starter companies that, you know, just started out making their first mice. Most of them aren't that great in terms of build quality. So hopefully this will be pretty good in terms of build quality for that $100 asking price. And again, I would not get this mouse right off the bat. I would wait a little bit, even if you're super hyped for this, which is not a lot of people, because again, this took about 2 years to come out. Especially, I think it took 1 year to come out after they were originally like getting everything set up, because they made a tweet about a year ago stating that, oh, we got the boxes and we're almost ready. That was a lie. That took a year, an extra year for them to actually get ready. But again, I commend Atom for actually getting this done, because again, most people, including me, never thought this was going to be finished, and it was, which is cool. But again, take all this with a grain of salt, even though it sounds amazing. For $100, it's pretty expensive for a wired mouse. And also, again, wait for reviews and wait for actual pictures of the mouse and super specific specs before actually getting the mouse, if you're planning on getting it. But yeah, that's it. It's just really, really cool that we're getting a lot of mice and a lot of mice news in August. I really didn't expect it. I really didn't expect all this news in August, but apparently we are getting it. So anyways, that's it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.